Hi everyone, I'm Brien Lundin of Gold Newsletter, and I am here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver. It is a great metals and mining bull market. There are lots of companies here vying for investor attention. One of the ones that's getting a lot of attention at this event for really good reasons is Almadex Minerals. This is a company that's been in the Gold Newsletter portfolio for a while. It's one of our top recommendations. I just mentioned it in an alert to our readers as one of the best buys out there right now. And I have the pleasure of talking today with Morgan Poliquin, the president and CEO of Almadex. Morgan, thank you for joining us. I want to go down the tick boxes of what you have going for you. But before we get to that, some key advantages that no other junior explorer has out there. And it's important that we know you are an absolute exploration company going for the big jackpot. And the biggest of all jackpots, copper gold porphyries or gold copper porphyries, however you want. We'll go to $5,000. Maybe we start there. Tell us your model and what you're looking for and how you have stacked up a number of ideal porphyry targets.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor. We think that if you're going to explore at the earliest of stages, is what we do, you might as well be trying to hit it out of the park and look for big things. And the basic thesis is that, and I should say first, we're entirely focused in the continental United States. So we're not, and obviously a long, rich exploration history there. So copper deposits, there's copper deposits to find there, but they're not going to be exposed at surface. So number one, we're looking for things that are buried, and we're going deeper. And around the world, the last 20, 30 years, there's been a lot of success in looking through something called a lithocap. And basically a porphyry that hasn't been eroded down to the level where it's exposed has an exhaust plume. I don't know if that's a visualizable word, but a whole bunch of fluids come out and they bake the rock above the porphyry, for lack of a better explanation. And so the porphyries might come up within a kilometer of surface. Gold-rich porphyries can do that, and sometimes they can be deeper with copper-rich porphyries. But they have this plume, and so we're looking at the plume. And the other aspect of it is, in terms of trying to find where these things could be, is that the way I like to explain it is the Andes, might be, I forget the total age, but over 100 million years of volcanism. But there's only maybe 1% of that that you're interested in. So we have found an age of rocks that has porphyries associated with them. And because of a very particular thing that happened in the subduction zone and deeper down in the crust, and we've pinpointed that, but then we're looking at those exhaust plumes. And the exhaust plumes themselves are interesting to explore because they can be barren and be obscuring a porphyry at depth, but they can also have gold deposits in them. And so you got a chance of
hitting doubles.
And that's actually happened. And one of the big advances there's in terms of what we are hopeful to do, a big company called Vale, not that long ago, made a massive discovery of this sort, drilling through a lithocap. I think their deposits were $300 billion gross value in Indonesia, and it was totally blind. But what they found is that under the lithocap, the porphyry isn't directly at depth, it's actually right up there, and there's different ages of things going on. So you're into a dynamic environment. So that's kind of the synthesis would be, once we know we have these clays, we know that there's a porphyry lurking around, and it's worth drilling.
So the porphyry, or the lithocap, you're finding the lithocap is an indicator, but it's also the age of the rocks that you're looking at in a specific age range.
We are, and
which narrows the field.
So I did this sort of work. It's kind of continental scale geologic reconstruction, and I did it as part of a study I did get my PhD in Mexico. And what we noticed is that there was copper where it wasn't supposed to be, and it was associated with a particular tectonic environment where the subduction zone had changed dramatically in a short period of time, and it allows two things to happen, which is how you need to form a porphyry. Water and heat to get into the base of the crust. And once you kind of have a sense of where that could be happening in the age of it, you can be a lot more predictive.
Okay. So you have gone through over years, last few years, and using these methods to winnow down the field, as it were, you've lined up how many are these porphyry targets?
Well, we've got about, some of them are more epithermal
Right,
gold,
yeah.
but we've got about a dozen targets that, and we've been staking more, and I'm expecting to add more because we're still on the chase.
Yeah.
But we've got about a dozen that are either permitted for drilling, or we will be doing that shortly, that are, near-term drilling, and so we're just going to start drilling them.
And in a typical junior mining company, that's really kind of the death knell of a company, because that spells dilution. You've got to raise. Porphyries are expensive to drill, or drill out at least, not so much as to discover initially. But drill means dilute, dilute, dilute. It costs a lot of money to get a drill going. It costs a lot of money to drill, and that means a lot of shares issued. So I know you're smiling right now. I'm setting you up on a silver platter. How are you not the typical junior mining company in that respect?
Well, two things. We think that drilling at early stages is one of the two spikes where there's opportunities for great capital gain.
Right.
And but you're right, it's the highest risk there is. If risk is a factor of the amount you got to spend and the odds, then so you can't. We feel that we can reduce the odds with our geologic acumen and our experience and so on and so forth. But the other side
that doesn't pay the bills.
That doesn't pay the bills. So the other side of it is reducing the capital. And so we, about 20 years ago, we got into having our own drills. And it was born of necessity, which I think a lot of business advances are that way, or everything.
A lot of genius comes from necessity, and you're back against the wall, yeah.
And we couldn't find a drill at the time, so we got our own. And so now we have 6, they're all in the United States. And so we have the luxury of being able to say, hey, this is a concept, let's put a hole in it and see, let's not romance it, or because of the expense of drilling, delay that. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, out of 30 years of doing this, we're fortunate enough to have a treasury. Half of it's thereabouts in physical gold.
Which that's helped a good bit as well.
It's been really nice the last few days even. But and we've been able to, we kind of have a ballast, I'd call it, of assets. We sold a royalty a few years ago for a very nice addition to our treasury. So we've got about 20 million in working capital, and having that number of drills in the past, and I'm hopeful in the future, has been able to significantly offset our exploration expenditures as well. So we haven't actually done, we have 20 million working capital, but we haven't done a financing since, I believe, 2018.
Because, partly because you're able to lease out your drills and get income from those drills.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we as I say, we have a package of royalties. We've got assets that in certain markets become valuable that we aren't working on, legacy assets and things like that. And we've demonstrated the ability to monetize those when the time is right. So all of that put together means that we can do this early stage work and put those holes in.
So you have about $20 million. You have a number of assets that are valuable, that add to the value of the company. You have the drills, you have the targets, and your market cap is about?
It's about 30 million.
So essentially, everything doesn't necessarily come for free, but it's at least very low cost as far as the investment at these prices. So you have these targets, these high potential, really the highest potential of targets you can have in the exploration game, all lined up. You have your own drills, you have the money, and you're just going to drill them all.
That's the plan. So my dad's our chairman, and his great source of wisdom, and he saw something in the 60s where he worked with a group that found 18 mines in 20 years.
Wow.
And they were doing systematic drilling, and they had it down to a very fine art, really. And they had lined up these targets. They were derived differently. Then it was a new technology in northern Manitoba, airborne geophysics. But this is an exciting thing that he says he's never seen in his career. So since that time, where we have the capital, And they were drilling blind, and only a certain percentage of them worked out. This is a completely different target definition.
But it's a numbers game.
Exactly.
And so if you can have top quality targets lined up and the ability to drill them with no dilution and quickly, that I think is the perfect recipe for a junior exploration play.
Well, thank you. We feel that this is a very unique period of time for us. All these elements have come together. 20 million in working capital at the last quarter, these drills and the properties and the tailwinds of metal prices. It's a special time for us.
Well, it's going to be, I think, a special year ahead for you. Good luck with the drilling. We're going to be watching it very closely. Thanks so much, Morgan.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.